Good morning, everyone. Good morning, handball fans. Welcome to a new edition of VELUX EHF Champions League Expert Hangouts. Here we are live, actually from the headquarters in Vienna and various other cities in Europe. Just one day out of the VELUX EHF Champions League quarterfinals. Very happy to welcome our star-studded lineup of guests. In particular, I'm very happy to welcome Vid Kavticnik from Montpellier, our special guest tonight. Hi, Vid, how are you?
Great, and you?
Thank you very much, very well. Also, obviously, welcoming a newcomer to the Hangouts, Marca handball correspondent and Spanish handball expert, Jorge Dargel, who joins us from Madrid, is that right?
That's right. Morning. Buenos días desde Madrid a todos. Good morning from Madrid.
Perfect. Thank you, Jorge. And obviously, very well-known faces joining us from Dublin, his hometown. Tom O'Branigan, EHfTV commentator. Hi, Tom. How are you today?
May the force be with you all.
It's not too early for you, Tom. I heard rumors that it might be.
That's why I'm wearing my big glasses, Tom. You know, I'm wearing my big glasses so nobody can see the bags under my eyes.
You look lovely, Tom. I can tell you look lovely.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
And joining us from Belgrade, Nemanja Savic, our expert for anything that's going on around the Balkan region in terms of handball. Hi, Nemanja, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm perfect.
Well, guys, let's have a look at these quarterfinals. Zagreb PSG, Vardar Veszprém, Flensburg Kielce, and then, of course, on Saturday, match of the week, Kiel against Barcelona. Vid, is it fair to say from your point of view that the Big Eight actually made it to these quarterfinals?
Yeah, I believe I'm quite surprised that Zagreb is there. So, but they put up a good fight against Rhein-Neckar Leuven. I saw the match, the second game, and really they played really well in defense, and it's just amazing that they achieved like this. So I don't know what everybody here think about that, but I'm quite surprised. So the other teams are like constantly playing in these quarterfinals. So I think there's no big surprise over there. So
Tom, Zagreb, the surprise package for you as well among these eight, or?
Yeah, I'm very surprised. And like Vid, I watched the game, and I mean, Vid is a professional handball player. He understands momentum better than any of us. And sometimes there's a point in a game where the game is either completely gone from the opposition or it gives them some hope. And in that game, Rhein-Neckar Leuven were cruising, and they had a fast break. And Uwe Gensheimer played it to Patrick Gretzky. Would have put them 4 up, I think, in the game. And you couldn't see a way back for Zagreb. They missed it. Zagreb scored a fast break, scored another fast break, and it suddenly gave them hope. I mean, you have to say that these Zagreb guys, I had mentioned it actually in one of my blogs, when they played against Paris, they were about 7 or 8 down, and they started to come back. And right at the end, I felt the coach didn't allow them to really go for it. And in this game, he seemed to take off the, you know, like we call the reins, you know, on a horse. He seemed to take them off and sort of said they'd nothing to lose. And when you saw the way they played like they'd played maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. Really quick, fast break handball, very, very quick in the attack, and they've got some great players. Pavlovic particularly looks a world superstar. And in the end, they deserved it because, well, everybody knows what I said about Rhein-Neckar Leuven and in the Champions League, and it's not something you can turn on and off like a switch. And they were just caught out on the day. They should have won those 2 legs. Over the 2 legs, they should have won it comfortably. The good news for them is they look like they'll win the Bundesliga title. They're in with a chance to win the German Cup. But they really threw away that game, the second leg. Threw it away.
Nemanja, with that, let's go straight into the first quarterfinal. Let's have a bit of a look at Zagreb versus PSG. Do you think that has really given them a boost that can at least make them tease PSG maybe in the home game? They announced, I think 2 or 3 days ago, that the arena will be sold out, 15,000 and a few more hundred fans. So massive atmosphere.
I'm sure that they've given him a boost. But you know what? Zagreb is quite a proud team, and they're among the 8 that made it. They're pretty much the smallest team, and they've already played against PSG, and it was a mixed success. You know, they played the first game. It was all right, but then they went to Paris and they lost with a lot of goals difference. I think they want it. I think if you asked anyone at the beginning of the season, would you rate Zagreb's chances for the Final Four, they would say no way. But right now, at this point of time, I think it's PSG who should actually be aware what might happen at Zagreb, because they're playing more cohesive than at the beginning of the season, and this team is actually I think weaker in the names and the names available than the team of the previous season. So I think that anything could happen in Zagreb. Obviously, the visit of Paris will tell us a lot more about the fixture, but let's think about it when the time comes. But in Zagreb, there's their chance to make their statements, if anything.
Vid, I assume you've played quite a number of times in the arena Zagreb. Is that an intimidating arena for every opponent?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a huge game. I think everybody's going to be under the pressure. I think Paris has to win this game. So this gives advantages to Zagreb, because they can. I think that it's going to be like the easiest game for them in this Champions League year. So they can only win. So if they lose against Paris, that's going to be a normal thing. So I think that they're going to put up a good fight against Paris, especially in the arena. I don't know what's going to happen in Paris, because the second game is going to be there, but I believe that they can show a good handball. I believe that there's going to be a lot of score differences, they will maybe be front for 2 or 3 goals, but the Paris is going to come back, and these things can happen in these games, and we will see. I don't know. They're like a big surprise this year, and I'm not going to say who's going to win. I know I played against Paris this year a couple of times. They can play really good, or they can play also not so good. So we're going to see how the difference of Zagreb is going to be, and if they manage to put up a good defense, I think they have a chance.
Jorge, how do you see this game, especially, I mean, taking into consideration Paris won the league already like 2 weeks ago. The cup final is over for them. So this is like, you know, the pressure has been off, so to say, for at least a couple of weeks now. And now they come into this situation, which is, you know, a must-win game for them.
Yeah, for me, to be honest, I think it's maybe the match more disequal in the quarter. But attention, Zagreb is a dangerous rival, because they have Veselin Bujovic on the bench. After join with Zagreb step more steps than with him on the bench, because Veselin Bujovic is a coach who give an incredible competitive to their players. So maybe I think like my colleagues, the key of this match for Zagreb is in the defense. If Veselin Bujovic think a good defense against Paris Saint-Germain, maybe Paris Saint-Germain have problems to beat to Zagreb. But I think at the first, Paris Saint-Germain have an incredible team, and is the candidate to get in his first Final Four after 2 matches in this season, who will get the victory against Zagreb. But pay attention about Zagreb in the first match. If Zagreb get a good score in the first match, maybe have possibilities in the second match in Paris. But I think the key is Veselin Bujovic and the great talent of his players, and his character of coach. He put his carrot in the field, and his players know they have no to lose, only illusion, and and I think is the difference between Paris Saint-Germain and Zagreb.
Thomas, I don't think Jorge told us who he thinks is going to win. I think
he kind of tried to.
He did. He's sitting on that fence. Well, I mean, the man to ask is Vid, isn't he? I mean, he knows Veselin as a coach. I don't know which is more important to Vid, the fact that the DVD of The Force Awakens came out, or that he got to the Olympics in Rio. But we can. I mean,
the both things.
Veselin Vujovic is the Darth Vader of coaching, isn't he? Really, he's the dark side of the Force. But we should ask Vid. He knows him intimately at the moment.
Yeah, I think that the question here is not everybody likes to play in attack, so everybody likes to score the goals. But what is his specialty is he motivates you to play really good in defense. So. I think the main reason that Zagreb has this huge success is because they have a good defense. And if you look our national team in these qualifications games for Rio, we had also a really good defense. We only got 5 goals against Spain in the second half. So these things brought us this success, and this is what Vujovic makes, where Vujovic makes a difference. So he motivates his players to play good in defense, and of course, he always scores the goals because you have a fast break. If you play a good defense, you can have a much more fast break. So I think that these things are the difference between PSG and Zagreb, because PSG is going to play. I think that PSG is going to play fast breaks, like Kiel before. So when I was in Kiel, and on the other side, Zagreb is going to play more in defense. They're going to put up, I think, a big defense. They're going to try to stop Nikola and the other guys. So if they manage to do that, I think they have a good possibility to do a good game. So.
Yeah, Thomas. I mean, of all the people here, Vid knows both the coaches really, really well, doesn't he? Because he played under Serdar Rusic as well. So, I mean, my feeling is that Paris Saint-Germain will actually be looking forward to this game, because I think that they're similar kind of styles in the way that they play handball. If you were to put Flensburg, who play that kind of fast-flowing handball, against Zagreb, I would say they might experience some difficulties. But I think that Paris, it will suit them the way they're playing this season, Vid.
Yes and no, because we played really strong against Paris here in our arena, in cup finals. So they didn't. Okay, Nikola was injured, but still they have a lot of players. They can score from 11 meters, like Mickey Hansen, and we still managed to create a great defense. So this gives them a problem to Paris, because if they don't score easy goals and from fast breaks and stuff like this. And you play really good defense when they are attacking, they have problems, and they could have problems in Zagreb. So we will see. I think that PSG is a much better team, and normally they should win. But there are only 2 games. Zagreb is going to be really, really motivated without the pressure. So you never know what's going to happen. So I still believe that PSG is at the end they're going to win. They're going to win, I think. But we will see. I'm not 100% sure. I'm 80% sure. So I know what Vujovic is going to do. So he's going to do a hard defense. He's going to stop Nikola. He's going to try to stop his best players. He's going to attack. He's going to do some hard falls on Mickey Hansen's immediately. So it's going to be tough. If they don't score immediately many goals, PSG, it's going to be a tough game.
Nemanja, do you also think that a tough defense is something that could make PSG stumble, or is the Paris team so good that they have a game plan for everything?
Well, if Zagreb are on their day, I think definitely defense is going to play the factor because Vujovic nurtures that kind of approach. If I was a coach, I wouldn't want to play first 15 to 20 minutes against Vujovic in the Champions League anywhere because it's just burning pace. They want to set their pace. They want to set their pace of the game. They're playing tough defense. They're going right at you. It's a real man's handball. But what happens next is a problem for Zagreb because their players are young. They're not as individually developed as PSG players. And they tend to stutter in the later stages of the game. That's been the niggling problem of Zagreb in the past seasons, and I hope they're going to be able to correct it, and the PSG won't be on their game on the first match in Zagreb because then we're definitely going to see more and more of an equal contest. Speaking of Vujovic, yes, he's a great motivator, and I wouldn't actually reckon he's a Darth Vader of handball. I really like to see him as a Han Solo, maybe, but yeah, yeah, because he's often misunderstood. You know, his approach he's on a good side, but. Vujo is definitely the guy to get them the win because he's been there and done it a dozen of times, and he actually having a coach behind you that knows every single aspect of handball is the best gift a player can have. That's why his results with young players are such. Vid can tell you about it. So back to the defense. On the defensive end, Zagreb were playing combined defense this season. It's something a bit more between the zone and man-to-man defense, which brings great results when the players are disciplined. So that's something that I'm actually anxious, very very eager to see from the first match, because when they're in Zagreb and when they're on their home ground, their defense is working like a clock, at least in the first 45 minutes of the match. So I'm really looking forward to them perfecting that kind of approach. I don't want to go into details, but we can talk about it. Tom knows what I'm talking about.
Jorge, let's turn the focus a bit actually onto PSG. In terms of the team's development, do you think now the time has come that it's ripe for the Final Four?
Can you repeat maybe because I don't listen to your question? Excuse me.
Let's focus on Paris now, and in terms of the team's development, how it has developed over the season. Do you think it is ripe for the Final Four? Is a team that now has the stability, also from a psychological point of view, that it faced?
For me, the Zagreb and Paris Saint-Germain now is in a good moment, in a good sport moment. Paris Saint-Germain last week won the France title, and I think it's a big support, moral support to face this important quarter-final of the Champions League. And I think Paris Saint-Germain is one more step than other seasons. I think Nikola Karabatic is the key of this team. Serdanusic on the bench is other key of the development of the performance of the Paris Saint-Germain, and maybe Mikkel Hansen, Thierry Omeyer, but another players have now play like a team, not like other team, like other season. They are more individual. Now it's a big team, in my opinion. But I think Paris Saint-Germain now have a strong, a tough rival because the defense. I think Zagreb is a better team in a defense issue than the attack, the incredible attack of Paris Saint-Germain. I was looking now in the EHF website, and Zagreb have the second best defense in the group A, in the group of the teams, with only 367 goals received in their match. So only Veszprém have more goals in this issue. So Zagreb, I think now after Ceja League, now his only illusion is quarterfinal of Champions League. So I think It's difficult to ask to your question. I think the two teams, both teams, are in a good sport moment. So if you see the squad of Paris Saint-Germain or Zagreb, maybe Zagreb is the big team, if you can say the big team in this quarterfinal. But with Vesel and Bojovic, Darth Vader, like Tom saying, for me, is the best of the great danger of Zagreb.
Thomas, I think that it was interesting. There was an article on the website with the specialist defender from Flensburg, the Swedish guy. Jesus.
Carlson.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. And Jorge, please don't come on here with research done, will you? You're making us all look bad, telling us how many goals are in the away columns. It's not good enough, you know. I'm only joking. Anyway, Carlson said there's only 7 of the 8 teams have a possibility of winning the Final Four, and he basically excluded Zagreb from the whole thing. And I think that says an awful lot. When a professional player actually comes out and says, you know, the 7 of the 8 have a possibility of winning the Final Four, except Zagreb. I think that says everything. If they play the kind of defence that Nemanja is talking about, I think the small group tactics of Paris Saint-Germain will tear them apart. And in the 2 games that I saw, Paris, all right, okay, it's not the quarterfinals. In the 2 games that I saw Paris play against Zagreb, Zagreb were put to the sword. Like I said, in the home game, Zagreb had a chance to come back, but I think they lost by 3 or 4 goals. I can't remember the exact scores. And then if we look at last season when they played against Barcelona, they played an absolutely magnificent game at home against Barcelona, and then you saw what happened to them away. Are they any better than last year? Somewhat. But are they that much better than last year? No. Are they doing anything different? No. We know exactly what Vujovic will do with his team. We know that they will come out to absolutely murder every single player on the Paris team. And if there are 2 very strong referees in the game, Zagreb could, like I said, they've one of the worst disciplinary records in the entire Champions League. So they may have the best defence, or the second best defence according to Jorge, but they've got the worst 2-minute suspensions and the worst red card suspensions. And if they get 2 referees that don't like, or that set a very high line in terms of what they're allowing, then Zagreb are going to be in major trouble, because this Paris team will tear you apart if you're a man down or 2 men down or whatever. They'll absolutely.
I agree with you, Tom.
Yeah. Jorge mentioned that, you know, Paris has started playing as a team this season. Obviously, this is something we always mentioned the opposite in like past seasons Hangout, that they obviously had a lot of stars, but they didn't play as a team. Vid, you've seen them so many times, you've played against them so many times this season. Is that also the major difference for you, that this team has become a team, the Paris?
Yeah, of course. They have a great trainer. I know Noka and his tactics, maneuvers, and I know all the players that are playing for Paris. But I think that their power is also because they have a big bench. So this is why we couldn't, or why we lost so many games also in Champions League or at home in French League. So we had like a small bench, and then we got many injuries. And then this their tempo is too high. We have like each 3 days we have a game. Then you have to travel. Then you don't have time to rest. So the injuries are here, and we are actually playing with 6-7 players, major players. So that's not enough for 2 big competitions or 3 big competitions like Champions League, French League, and French Cup. So I think that we lost. Games here, and Paris, they have like 17 or 16 really good players. So this is also their power, and if there's like Nico not in a good day or in a good mood on the game, maybe Daniel Narcisse is gonna come to the place and score like 5 goals. You never know. You know, I think that the biggest problem in Paris team is it's like goalkeeper position. They only have Thierry Meyer in this high level performance in the goal as a goalie. And if Thierry or Titi is not having a good day, this could be potentially a problem for Paris. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that that Paris has like a huge team. They're playing much better, and they're playing like a real team. So I don't think that they're like Tom said before, there can go anything wrong because like their tactics are really good. Maybe they can lose one game, or but I don't think the second game in Paris is going to be a problem.
Thomas, it's sorry, can I just say it's interesting what Vid said there, because it might bring you on to another game that you want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about big squads, didn't we, with Flensburg? One of the reasons why I gave Flensburg a nod for the Final Four was I said that Ljubo Vranjes was very clever in that he reinforced with so many players, good quality, so that he had a long bench. He had like 19 star players that he could rest 3 and bring in others. And you see now they're almost top of the, well, they won't win the Bundesliga probably, but they're up there at the top. And now they're in the last 8 with a long bench. And you saw that when I went down to Montpellier, even though they won the game against KIF that day, they ran for the 60 minutes. You could see that they were really struggling with injuries. And it just shows you how important a big bench is, which is the other side for somebody like Kiel, who are having major problems this season in terms of injuries and trying to kind of plug the gaps all the time. So you look at PSG, big squad. You look at Flensburg, big squad. You look at Veszprém, big squad. You know, it's not by chance that these teams are here. It's not only that they're top-level players, but they've got another 7 top-level players that can walk into the team off the bench.
Let's have a look then at this, at the Flensburg versus Kielce quarterfinal. Just in between, Tom, before we go ahead, I see that Twitter is buzzing. We get some questions in, so everyone who's following us, please tweet us at EHFCL, and we will ask your questions straight away here to our panel. Tom, we got one question here, as you named Vujovic as the Darth Vader of coaching. He wants to know who's the Luke Skywalker in Zagreb. Quickly, one name.
It's Zlatko Horvat. He's kind of like a cross between one of those Ewoks and Luke Skywalker. Zlatko Horvat.
glad we sorted that out.
Or is it R2D2? I can't remember. You know. You mentioned the long bench of Flensburg. Do you also give them the edge over Kielce in this quarterfinal tomorrow? I was thinking about this long and hard. It's one of those games that I'm not sure. It's kind of a toss-up. You know, Kielce has not been brilliant this season at all. I mean, and if you look, by the way, at the 8 quarterfinalists, 5 of them are from Group A, and only 3 from Group B. And which sort of says that Group A probably was the tougher group, and Flensburg almost won it. You know, they were a goal away from actually topping the group and missing out on the last 16. But they're a bit one-dimensional. This sounds terrible because I love the way they play handball, but they really don't have that. They don't have that ability to drag teams off that 6-meter line. And if they don't play Djordjic in that left-back position, and we all know that, Jesus, I told you it was too early. I can't remember names this hour in the morning. Hang on a minute, lads. I have my notes here. Glandorf is more of a breakthrough kind of jump shooter from 9 meters. And so they're a little bit one-dimensional, whereas this Kielce team have a lot of strings to their bow. And although they're not playing beautiful handball this season, it's very effective. And with Bilecki, Jurecki, and these guys who can really pull you out off that 6-meter line, Anderson, who's been sensational all season, is going to have to be great. Is going to have to be absolutely brilliant in this game. But Flensburg have one of the best counter-attacking teams in the Champions League. They score goals in like 2 seconds if they concede. They've got some of the best wingers, but they're a little bit one-dimensional. If they can make everything click with the way they play, then I give them the edge just on the basis that Anderson can have 2 great games and they're almost unstoppable sometimes when they play handball, Flensburg. But Kielce somehow have been able to manage to do strange things this season. They should have lost at home against Barcelona. They managed to get a draw. They go away to the Palau Blaugrana and win. So this one's up in the air for me, Thomas. I couldn't choose. I will just give the edge to Kielce, even though I think Flensburg could win.
Over the 2 games, you mean?
Over the 2 games, yeah, I really don't. I said Flensburg at the start of the season that they would get to the Final Four, so I'll stick with Flensburg, but I'm not sure.
Vid, what was your impression when you played Kielce in the Champions League this season with Montpellier?
I think that it was almost the same thing that the same game that we played against. Not the same game, but it was like they have like a lot of strong players, and we like to have a strong players because Montpellier team has like a lot of fast players. So if they're strong, they're not so fast in their legs. So we like that. That's our thing in Montpellier. We like to run. We are not. What was our problem this year was like we didn't have Mathieu Grebil who can shoot from 10 meters, 11 meters. So that was our problem. So we were concentrated to move them, left, right, and then we just when they were too late, in the defense, then we shoot from 9 meters or 8.5. That was our main thing. So I think that Flensburg and Kielce, that's going to be like a really, really tough game, because Flensburg likes the tough players and hard players, where they can put a hard defense, like Carlson in the middle. He doesn't like the fast players. So that's going to be a problem because Zorman, he's a fast player and he's a strong player. So I think that Flensburg is going to have a lot of problem with our Slovenian player Zorman. So, but the other players like Jurecki, Belecki, Lievski, they are strong players, not so fast players, and I think that Flensburg likes that. On the other side, the same by Kielce. They have strong players, and in attack, Flensburg, okay, they have a fast players, but still they're not so fast, I believe, than we are in Montpellier. So I think it's going to be a perfect game, really good game with a lot of tension. It's going to be I think a lot of result changes during the game, and I'm just happy. I'm going to watch it before the other games because I think that this game is going to be like a top game in this quarterfinals.
Yeah, Thomas, isn't it interesting if you look back at the last 16, Montpellier and Flensburg suited each other. And you saw that in the fact that there was only a goal in both games. Maybe you could say that Flensburg controlled in the end both games, but Montpellier, that style, right? It suited, both teams suited each other.
Yeah.
Flensburg doesn't suit Kielce, and Kielce doesn't suit Flensburg, and that's why I don't think that anybody could say for sure who's going to come out on top. Yeah. But the Montpellier-Flensburg showed you how important it is when you're playing a team that's similar, because Montpellier didn't have the best season in the Champions League, and they could have been there. They could have been there in the end, 2 goals in it.
Yeah.
Jorge, Kielce against Flensburg, too close to call for you as well?
Yeah, like the opinion, like the rest of the opinion of my colleagues, I think it's a very similar match because I think it's two great teams. But maybe, I don't know if Talan Dusayev have a secret on the bench or Julian Guinagalde have a great performance in both matches. But I think for me, I think it's a very similar match. I can't say a favorite between Flensburg and Kielce. Maybe one step Kielce, but I think it's very, very difficult to say what team will be in the Final Four. But I think it's a tough rival, Kielce, because but it's different. I think Flensburg have one of the British handball in Europe, because thanks to the level or the work of branches on the bench with their talent, young players, maybe Kielce arrives to this round better in a physical issue, because Flensburg is fighting for Bundesliga, and he's suffering fatigue target, because I think they could pay this issue in the key moments of the round, because I think they arrive to the quarterfinal more tired, in my opinion, more tired in Flensburg, because Bundesliga for me is the great league of the world, and the fatigue is very strong in the Bundesliga, and in Polish league, only Wisła Płock is only the strong rival for Kielce. So I think maybe in the physical issue the difference between both teams.
Nemanja, when games are so close, it's often like single players who then eventually make the difference. If you look at this game, like which are the players that could make the difference for either Kielce or Flensburg?
Well, what I can say with certainty, well, it's close to call, but we're going to see a lot of goals in this one. As we'd said, it's a styles that not too complementary with each other, but it's the styles that sometimes you can see counterfeit each other, because you know the way Kielce play, obviously you're gonna see a lot of goals from the backcourt. So I say Jurecki, Bilecki, some of them are going to be key for Kielce, but we must not underestimate the factor of the line player. Because when you're able to have a good shooters from 11 meters, 12 meters, you're also able to put the ball down to the line player to score, and that's very, very perilous for the central block of the opposition. So I'm gonna be a bit different and say Agina Galde for Kielce, and for Flensburg, well, each and every of their players have the ability to surprise. But I'm gonna say Matthias Andersson, because when he's got a good day, it's he shuts off the blinds and we can all go home. So. These are the two for me. I don't want to single out any of the attacking players from Flensburg, because they're all very, very good and very technically equipped to play against Kielce. And obviously, if we haven't seen it by far, I'm gonna say Flensburg wins this one. Close, but they win.
Yeah. Tom, shall I ask you which players will make the difference? Or because you said it's a bit too early to remember names.
No, I can remember who. Now I remember who Agina Galde is.
Yeah, Tom dreamt of the last 16, I think. And so,
how long has it been? It's been like no. I've been watching my games, but the way, I have to be honest here, guys. I'm focusing a lot on women's handball in the last couple of weeks, because I'm going to be doing the Final Four in Budapest. So if you ask me the names of all the women players, I know them all, but my head is too small to keep all the names. So I have everything written in front of me. I agree with Jorge. I agree with Nemanja. I think Agina Galde is just one of those freaks of nature, isn't he? I mean, he's absolutely huge. You give him the ball, it's a penalty. It's 2 minutes to the defence. It's a goal. It doesn't really seem to make any difference. I really think Matthias Andersson is going to be the key. I mean, if it's like Nemanja said, great line. Shut up the blinds and go home, because that's what he's like. And he works so well with Carlson, whose name I remember. Thank you very much now, Thomas. He works so well with Carlson in there as his defensive marshal. And, but like Jorge said, Vid and Nemanja, it's going to be so close, this game. I mean, this is really what we want the last 8 to be. We want it to be close. We don't want to be looking at it like PSG Zagreb, where, let's be honest, all of us are trying to be kind to Zagreb. They got a new jersey, looks very nice, but I mean, that's about the only present they're going to get for the last 8. We're all trying to be diplomatic here. But I'm afraid Darth Vader is going to be defeated once again. He's going to show his love and kill the Emperor, and we can all go home. So PSG are through. Flensburg, Kielce, I couldn't say for sure. But I'm just giving the edge to Flensburg, because I don't think Kielce has played really, really well this season. They haven't clicked. I don't know whether they're not understanding what talent wants or not, but they're just getting the job done. But they're not looking like champions. Whereas Flensburg, really, at times this season, have looked really, really, really good.
Well, let's see. In 2 weeks' time, we'll know, and let's have a look at the third quarterfinal. That's being played tomorrow on Saturday. Vardar against Veszprém. I think Veszprém topped, and a few of you guys participated. Your last power ranking, so it has been the strongest team in, I think, Tom and Nemanja's opinion. I think you two were in there. However, we've got two Spanish coaches on the.
Thomas, you're absolutely right. We've got 2 Spanish coaches, and I'm just hoping that this time Xavi Sabate stays standing up. I mean, you know, Carlos Pastor. I mean, these Spanish guys, Jorge's there. I don't want to get them all annoyed, you know, because they've got a bit of a temper, these Spanish guys, you know. And Carlos Pastor gave Xavi Sabate a little shove, and Xavi Sabate ended up in Serbia or something when he fell on the ground in the Hungarian Cup final. I mean, I never saw anything like it. I wrote to him and I said, I thought it was brilliant. I know. To be perfectly honest, we don't want to see that in the sidelines, but it shows that there's a bit of passion, doesn't it? I said to Xavi Sabate, I said, first of all, Xavi, are you all right? And then in my next text to him, and I said, 10 points for the greatest dive I've ever seen. You know, in the history of handball. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, the guy just kept rolling and rolling. I was laughing. Let's be honest here. Vesprem are the most complete team in the Champions League this season. And, you know, if they don't win the Final Four this season, then they've missed a really brilliant opportunity. If you look at every single position that they're in, I heard that Ilic might be injured, or he has been injured, he might be back. But when you look at Sliskovic, he looks really, really good this season. You look across the team, nothing's changed. Xavi Sabate kept it very simple. Even, I don't know how he's done it. He's kept everything rolling along perfectly. They've won the Sahel League. They won the Cup final. All right, they narrowly won in the semi-final of the Sahel League and then won the final. They won the Cup when Szeged had it sewn up, and they still managed to come back. There's something about this Vesprem team this season, and they look very, very strong. And I love Vardar, and I like the way they play, but I cannot see them with any chance in this game.
Jorge, were you surprised by Sabate and the way he's coached the Vesprem team this season, obviously?
I think Sabate is continuous the work of the job of Antonio Carlos Ortega. It's his second hand. So it's the same Spanish style on the court. I think it's for me, Vesprem now is the great candidate to win this final four with Barcelona maybe. Vesprem have for me with Paris Saint-Germain the two great teams in Europe. So, and the style of Vesprem is a Spanish style. So I think. Vesprem maybe is the candidate to pass to qualify to Final Four, but maybe Vardar have a great chances in his court, taking more goals to the second match in Hungary. So I think Vardar have maybe Vesprem have to pay attention, because Vardar have a Spanish style with David Davis and Raul Gonzalez, and I think it's two teams playing more similar on the court. So I think Vardar have not a great players than Vesprem, but I think Vardar have possibilities to get a great score in his court to face the second round, the second match on Hungary. So I think Vardar with Arpad Sterbit, Alex Dusebayev, Thindrich have a great talent to face a Vesprem who maybe is a great team. But I think the first match will be very, very difficult to Vesprem in Skopje.
Nemanja, do you expect these two teams to kind of like, you know, Jorge mentioned the two Spanish playing styles to kind of neutralize themselves?
Well, not exactly, because we have obviously Xavi Sabate, who's in the same vein of his teacher Carlos Ortega. But obviously there are differences, and these differences have proven to be beneficial for Vesprem. You know, he's solidified Vesprem into the most consistent team in the Champions League, and we can see it's a bit different approach. We see some things that he does the same as Ortega, some things he does differently, and the players are reacting the same way. Actually, he's just continuing where Ortega has stopped, and he's actually the best coach Vesprem could have hoped for, considering all the names that went through the press when Ortega left. Looking at Vardar, I obviously know David Davis and Raul Gonzalez quite closely, and I know their approach, and I know that they're both analytic guys who see everything, who like to control every aspect of the game. And what I know about them is that they have their own handbook, and they're writing in it, and every single aspect of Veszprém game is in it, and they know exactly what to expect. So these guys are incredible. You know, they go in depth as more than any coach that I've seen, and I like to look coaches, like to analyze coaches. So I'm gonna say Veszprém beware in Skopje. Right now, Veszprém are the favorites because well, the history is on their side, the rivalry is on their side. They won the second league final just this month at the beginning of April. So I think that slide a bit of the edge onto the favor of Veszprém, but it's something that further motivates a team like Vardar is to try and top their performance and win. Obviously, the speculation about Ilić, I don't know whether he's ready or not, but he's going to play. You know, it's never been questioned. He likes to play through pain, and I wouldn't be surprised if he scored like 10 goals. So it's more Ilić after all. Well, that's all for the introduction. I'm going to leave something for the other guys to say. I don't want to be
Vid, if we had asked you to participate in our power ranking, you know, where you list the teams according to their current strength, would Veszprém had come out on top of your list as well at the moment?
Yeah. I think Veszprém has a really good team, who is they are playing together like they didn't make any huge changes in the past few years, so they know. Everybody knows everybody in this team, so they had minor changes like new players coming, but the main players are here like for 2 years now. So I believe that that's their main power. So they know in each time of the game if it's difficult or if it's easy. They know how each player is going to play. So I was a little bit I didn't know why they put away Ortega. That was a surprise to me, but they are managing great. They are playing great. They're winning the titles. So I think it's going to be really difficult for Vardar to win against Veszprém. So it depends. Everything depends how they're going to play the first game. So if Vardar manage to play a huge game, win by 5, then it's going to be difficult for Veszprém to win the second game for more than 5. So, but if Veszprém is going to be like behind 1-2 goals, or maybe I think that they can win in Vardar arena. So then it's going to be really difficult to come to Final Four for Vardar. So we're going to see. I think that Veszprém has a better team. They're playing together. They're motivated to win this Champions League because they have to win it. Like they're here to. They were like there last year, like a year before. They're always on this Final Four, but they're not winning it. So I think that this year they think that there's their year, and they're ready to win this Champions League.
well, yeah, and
Sorry. Watch out, Nemanja. I was just going to say, watch out for Sulic Toskic. I mean, that's just going to be. That's a duel. That's a war within a war. You know, I'm looking forward to that now.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something in line with what Vid has said previously. Veszprém has to win the Final Four, but Vardar has to go to the Final Four.
Yeah,
you know, it's the same amount of. Yeah. Sorry.
Let's give it up.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same challenge for both of them. So that's why this game is so interesting. And do not forget this guy here.
Yeah.
He can make a difference.
What's his name again? What's his name again, Nemanja?
I don't know, some Spanish goalkeeper. I don't know. He's not very well known. He's young.
Jorge is sitting there going, Every time I talk about the team, it's about the Spanish player. Sorry, that was the worst Spanish accent ever. I'm sorry, Jorge. I didn't mean it. I didn't. Buenos dias.
But I think Spanish now is the great talent in Europe.
They're everywhere. Yeah.
On the bench is the similar. The coach, Spanish coach, are in the market, and his job is there. So I think Arpad Sterby, maybe for me, is one of the best goalkeeper in the world. But maybe I think. I don't know. Veszprem have Alilovic and Mikler, so I think maybe Veszprem have a better goalkeeper than Bardar,
Maybe.
Well,
Do you know what I'm dying to hear, Thomas? You know, because Jorge is from Madrid, correct?
Correct.
Madrid, and he has to talk about Barcelona.
I won't
talk about Barcelona. I won't talk about Barcelona. No, I'm joking. I hope Barcelona, and I think Barcelona maybe will be the first team winning 2 Champions League in a row with the format of Final Four. Maybe, and I hope Barcelona win the Champions League.
What makes you believe it? Before we say goodbye to you, and then we move to match of the week and talk about it. So thanks for that, like, brilliant flow over to match of the week on Saturday, live on EHF with Tom Brannigan, English commentary. Jorge, what makes you think that Barcelona could actually defend its title
against Kiel?
Well, you would kind of assume that they would beat Kiel and they would defend their title, win the Final Four, if I understood you correctly.
For me, Barcelona, after losing Nikola Karabatic, maybe is the second team in Europe after Veszprem, maybe, or Paris Saint-Germain. But Barcelona have keep one of the best team in the world. So after the singing like Philippe Hicha, and now he's better of his injury problems. Spirshak, the Polish line player. Jalous is in a great moment. Jalous, the Tunisian player. Maybe Barcelona, is, after losing Nikola Karabatic, have many possibilities to be in the Final Four, and now it's very it's better than Kiel, because Kiel now is in a poor moment in the mind and in the physical, because Kiel now have suffered so many injuries in the squad. So I think Barcelona now could win the second Champions League because he keep a great team and the same style with Xavi Pascual. So I think Barcelona will be in the Final Four and will be one candidate with Veszprem and Paris Saint-Germain to win the Champions League. It's my opinion.
I mean, these teams have played so many times against each other. Is that for you like the Classico is always like a nice comparison? Is that like a Classico of European handball? If I can take the Classico out of Spain for you, I hope that's allowed.
I think the Classico from before was like more Tehavi Kiel against Ciudad Real. So, but still, yeah, we played like so many times against Barca, and everybody knows everybody there. So there's a lot of huge players in both team. But the problem in THV this year was, like Tom said before, they had like many injuries and they just filled up these holes with the new players. And there are some injured players, before injured players that are back. I saw that Vincek was playing the last game, so I think that he's going to play also against Barca. So it depends if he's going to be in a good daily form or not. I don't believe that after this injury had like a cross league LCA that you can play the high level games on the really high level. So I think that that's not so good for THW. But on the other side, we have Barca. They're playing like good for the whole season, or almost the whole season. They have a good team. They lost some players, but the younger players like Jalous, they're playing really good. If we look on the other side, the Spanish league is not so difficult. The Spanish national team didn't qualify to Olympic Games, so I think that the Spanish player is going to be really motivated to come to the Final Four. So it's the other side, Tom, and they have to do something.
I'm just laughing at Vid reminding Spain.
Yeah, I was just like,
horrible to remind every time Spain won't be on Olympic Games.
But it's Vid. He's sending the
little messages. No,
No.
This could motivate the Spanish player.
Okay, sorry, all right.
So, no, it's not. I'm not joking on this team because.
Yeah, you were. What did you say earlier?
I know.
You said earlier in the Hangout, and Spain only scored 5 goals against us in the whole second half.
Yeah, because everybody was surprised because they have a good attack and they played really good defense. So, no. So
your point is that they can focus on this now.
They can focus directly only on this, and they already won the Spanish league. They will win all the cups. So the priority is like Champions League right now, and they're preparing this game like it's the end of the year or the end of the world. Like they have to win it. So they have a kill. They're still playing German league. And I think that they still have a possibilities to win it. So they have, they have. But okay, they have to play good and they have to win the matches. And Rhein 11 and the other guys have to lose the game. So, but it's still a possibility. So I think that Barcelona here have a small advantages. So I believe it's going to be a tough game, but at the end I think that Barca is going to win it.
Mm-hmm. Tom, given that what Vid and Jorge explained now, like Barcelona obviously managing to kind of cope with that, loss of Karabatic and replacing him quite well, Kiel with all the injuries they suffered from throughout the season. Can you, or would you, nevertheless say, maybe at least for this game coming up on Sunday, Kiel is Kiel, like a line we've mentioned so many times in the past Hangouts?
Thomas, you have ruined my intro and my final statement with your Kiel is Kiel. No, it's okay. I'm only joking. First of all, it's. I don't think they have replaced Nikola Karabatic at Barcelona. I mean, they've replaced him, but it's a kind of a strange thing. Last season, when they came back after those World Championships, the Barcelona team was so strong. I saw them against Kif Kolding. And I said to myself, oh my God, this is one of the best handball teams I've ever seen playing together. They were tremendous. And they just kept that going. They were like a boulder rolling down a hill for the rest of the season. Now, I know they won Group B, but looking now that Zagreb beat Rhein Leuven, I'm starting to think that Group B wasn't as tough as maybe we all thought, just thinking back and watching.
That's what I said from the beginning, yeah. That's what I said from the beginning, yeah.
There you go. So anyway, all right, here's what I'm going to say to you. There's always a surprise in the last 8. Always a surprise. I don't think that the surprise will be Vardar against Veszprém. I can't tell between Kielce and Flensburg, but I also can't tell between Kiel and Barcelona. And the reason is that Barcelona don't look as balanced as they did last season. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. In defence, in the centre, they've Sarando and Viran, mostly, and that looks really strong. But then when you go to position 2, then it always looks like there's something wrong. And yes, Vail Jalouse looks like he's banging in the goals this season, really looks good. But then I look at Kiel and I say to myself, right at this moment in time, Landin is starting to really, really show some form. Duvniak is really starting to show some form. Vuyin is starting to show some form. Brozovic looks like one of the best signings of the season in terms of filling a hole. He really has given them something there. And then I look at Canellas. 2 years ago, Joan Canellas was, for me, one of the best handball players in the world. And for some reason, he's gone like this. But now he's playing against his boyhood club, right? And we all know what happens when you're playing against your boyhood club. Something inside you wants to show you were wrong to let me go. Why did you let me go? There's a kind of something inside that really makes you play. So actually, I'm going to book every trend here and say, actually, and I'm really sorry to the Barcelona guys, they won't talk to me now when I get to Kiel because I've said this, but I'm actually going to say something inside me tells me Kiel are going to make it to the Final Four. And I can't tell you why I think that's going to happen, but I think that's what's going to happen. But it's going to be so tight.
What's your stomach telling you, Nemanja, about this game?
Well, if there was a season when everybody underestimated Kiel, is this season. You know, everybody's talking about how their play is not thrilling anymore, how they're not the contenders anymore, and everything like went down, just like Juan Canellas' career. But I think that could be the factor in the game against Barcelona, because as I've said, Barcelona has been playing in the Group B, which. Well, although it's got 3 teams in the best 8, but it's not the best group to play in. It's actually something like the Spanish league. You know, the group is a bit more easy, and the league is quite a bit more easier than what Kiel has. So Kiel are actually having a better swing at the Final Four at this point in time, because they're setting the pace in the Bundesliga, in the German Cup, and actually, they have more players to count upon when it comes to individual form. But what strikes me about Barcelona is how many times we've said, you know, they're playing in a weekly league, they're not going to be able to respond to the challenge, but somehow they still do. And although we cannot imagine the Champions League without a German team, but I can't imagine the Champions League without Barcelona this season. So I'm going to give them the slight edge, but I'm going to be close to the TV and in this game and watch it. So,
sorry, Nemanja, I just wanted to say you're absolutely right. The last 2 games I saw was Balingen playing at home to Kiel, and Kiel didn't score for like 15 or 16 minutes in the second half. But I think that already they were cruising in that game, and their mind might have been on the Barcelona game already, which is very strange. But Weinhold also was back, which I found strange, because I'd heard that he was going to be out for the rest of the season. Big plus. And Vincek, but I don't think he'll play. I mean, Vid knows you tear an ACL, you know, you can't go straight back into that game. But look at the 2 teams they played. Balingen, I watched that game. Some of the defending from Balingen in the second half was absolutely crazy. You won't see that kind of defending by Barcelona. Barcelona play a stylish game. Okay? Who did Barcelona play last? Listen to this, lads, for a bit of research. Fuerteventura, Puerto Sagunto. Has anybody ever even heard of Fuerteventura, Puerto Sagunto?
Okay, we've got at least someone here who's heard of it. I think we've got at least someone.
You're from Valencia. Valencia, Tom.
Look, and I'll tell you, the game was over inside 7 minutes. Fuerteventura, Puerto Sagunto. I mean, you know, okay, I'm only kidding, Fuerteventura, Puerto Sagunto. I like your style, but they couldn't play against Barcelona. So Barcelona have missed 2 rounds of the Champions League. They've just recently played Fuerteventura, Puerto Sagunto. Doesn't exactly fill me with confidence that they're ready to make that huge step up that Kiel, by the way, made when they played against Szeged. And you saw that in that second game. It was incredible. And this Szeged team is a really, really good team. Was a really, really good team in the Champions League. So there you go. Fuerteventura, Puerto Sagunto versus Kiel.
Versus Balingen.
Jorge, are you listening to me? Escolta. Jorge, yeah.
Escolta. Escucho,
yeah, well, whatever, okay.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, Tom, but it's clear that Asobal League is not the same league than Bundesliga. Asobal League, the crisis, the economic crisis is incredible. So Balingen, I could watch this match yesterday or 2 days ago, and Kiel have an incredible poor second half. So I think it's clear that Ballingham is a great team. It's better team than Fertiberia Puerto Sagunto. It's clear.
That's not much better.
I can't discuss with you in this issue. It's clear. So,
yeah, you're right, Thomas. Jorge, say it again, because we are going to make this team from Valencia famous. Say it again. How do you say it?
Valencia. Fertiberia Puerto.
Yeah, say
From
it.
Valencia. It's a club from Valencia.
Yeah, say their name.
Fertiberia Puerto Sagunto.
Brilliant.
I'm liking them on Facebook right now. So
Absolutely. Follow Fertiberia.
Yeah. Fertiberia is only the sponsor. You can say Puerto Sagunto. Is the yeah. So I think I disagree with you, Tom, because I think that the Barcelona is the great candidate against Kiel, but because one of the key of this room, I have made my homeworks. I have made my work, but I can't say any words of my papers. But
but all the wrong questions here. I was sorry.
One of key of this round could be the goal, because Barcelona, I think, win the match with maybe the best couple of goalkeepers within the Champions League, with Pérez de Vargas and Savic. Landing is landing. Is landing one of the best, but like the couple of goalkeepers, I think Barcelona win. In the defense issue, I think Barcelona wins, and maybe with 6-0 defense with Soraindo and Vira Moros, or maybe other players, win Barcelona to Kiel. Maybe the fast breaks with the wins. Barcelona win with Sigurdsson, Victor Tomás, or Ariño. In the attack, Barcelona win to Kiel because Raúl Enterrioso Sarmiento is in a great moment, and it's an intelligent game on the court. And Orquesta is like the orchestra directors, but I think Lazarov, Yaluz, or Hitcha now is maybe is better than Kiel, because Kiel with the injuries, Cañellas and Dufniak and another back players of Kiel is very tired, and with physical problems. You can say with against Ballingham, the second halves of Kiel, they are tired because they have more chances on the bench. So maybe I think Barcelona, instead of have a poor league, Spanish poor league, I think will be the candidate to pass to qualify to the Final Four, because it's a great team, and Kiel, they can now face to Barcelona with his lot of injuries, like I don't remember. Winsek, Dissinger, Wayne Holt, Toff Hansen, and Anic, Janima, Brozovic, or Lakovic. Lakovic can't play on Champions League, but they can keep the level showed by the injured players. So I think Barcelona is now very candidate to get to the passport to the Final Four.
Can I change my mind, Thomas, after hearing all that?
Yeah, I think we have to, like, for that match of the week, I think we have to leave the last words to Jorge. And yes, internally you can change your mind. Or we noted that you might have changed your mind. Guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you, but we obviously don't finish a hangout without, some predictions. So, 3 questions I have. And I give you some time to think about. First of all, I want to hear the 4 teams that you think will make it to the Final Four. So you have time to change your prediction, Tom. I want to hear the team that you think will eventually win the Champions League. And because we're starting the All-Star Team fan vote next week for the VELUX EHF Champions League, I want to hear the name of the player that impressed you the most so far. So, like, your current MVP of the season. Any first takers? Anyone who's ready to go straight away?
Tom likes to talk a lot, so Tom, you can start.
Yeah, there you go.
Tom, yeah.
Normally,
Usually likes to go last, so
normally I go last, but I'll go first. I'm going to go PSG.
yeah, break the ice, Tom.
Yeah, I'm breaking the ice here. Here we go. I'm going to go PSG Vesprem, Flensburg Kiel for the 4 teams that will go to the Final Four.
So you didn't change your mind.
I did. Jorge didn't change my mind for me. I decided to stick with my. I decided to stick with my gut, which has gotten me through life. Okay, they're my 4 teams. I will say, I'll say Vesprem to win, just on current form, but that could change once the Final Four comes around. And the player that's impressed me the most this season, I'm actually, strange enough, I'm actually going to go for Pérez de Vargas, because he's a young player, but his level has been really tremendous this season, and in some games for Barcelona, he's really been top. So normally I wouldn't go for goalkeeper, but I'm going to go for the beardy boy in goal for Barcelona. Pérez Gonzalo Pérez de Vargas.
You like Spanish?
See.
Nemanja, here on my screen, you're next.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stick with my predictions as well as my power ranking in that order. I'm gonna say Vesprem, Flensburg, Barcelona, and obviously PSG.
With Vesprem to win.
Yeah, the Vesprem's gonna be the champions, depending on the schedule who they play. But I think they deserved it. They deserved it so far. And for the player, whoa, that's a very tough one. Depending on who plays in the final and who wins, but I'm gonna go with Montpellier. He's my go-to guy for the final win.
Cool, thank you. Vid, you're next.
Yeah, I agree with Nemanja. I think that the teams that he said, I think that they're gonna pass to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And so then the second question was what?
Who's going to win it?
Whew. That's too soon to say. So I don't know. It's too soon. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what's gonna happen in the quarterfinals. So how they're gonna play under the pressure. But I think the Vesprem has a big chance to win it. PSG could be there. Also, we have we have 4 teams that could win the Champions League, so I think it's too soon to say. It depends also from the injuries. They could happen in the next games, and I think it's too soon to say. And the MVP, there's also so many players. There are younger players like Pavlovic who played really good this season in Zagreb, but it's not over yet. So there's going to be like quarterfinals right now. So the good players are going to show how good they are. So under the pressure, so I think that we can choose after this quarterfinals who could be potentially MVP of this Champions League season.
Yeah, it's so unfair. I'm gonna be just very short. It's so unfair that players they only have a chance for the Final Four gonna be in the choice for the MVP, because otherwise it would have been Dean Bombac. And Vid knows why. Deki is a magnificent player and so consistent.
Yeah, he's really good. So, yeah, there's a lot of players over there. So it's really not. As a player, it's really difficult for me because I have so many friends and I know so many players, good players, and it's really. I don't want to put one name out. So
pick yourself, Vid. Pick yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the best.
Okay. Well, not gonna pin you down on this.
So we will see. I think that it's gonna be more clear after these quarterfinals, and we will see who played really big role on.
Yeah. Okay, Jorge. Your prediction, your name.
Okay, my candidates for Final Four are Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona, excuse me, Tom, Vesprem, and Kielce.
Okay, and who wins?
Thomas, I think Jorge mentioned all 8 teams in the Final Four there.
No. maybe 5, but
No, I repeat. Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona, Veszprém, and Kielce. Oof.
Without German teams.
No.
German teams, yeah? No German teams.
No. It's the will be the first time with no German teams on a Final Four format.
So you must be hoping to buy a ticket for the Final Four then.
Yeah, I think so. So the second question was.
Who's going to win it?
Oof. I think my head I think will win Barcelona.
Okay.
Or maybe Spanish team with Spanish players on the court, on the bench. Maybe. I hope so.
So that's.
So, and the last question.
Thomas, does this guy write sports articles for Marca? Does anybody understand what he's saying? I'm only kidding, Jorge. It's difficult to say a team who Spanish players or who Spanish coach on the bench. It's no very
fairly high chances, I'd say. Fairly high chances there.
So and the last question, the MVP, no? Okay, the MVP.
Who has impressed you the most so far?
Maybe Bombak. I can't remember. You can say Vid. Okay, we won't be on Olympic Games due to Tim Bombak and Slovenia. But I think Tim Bombak is a good performance on the Champions League with the Slovenia national team. Tim Bombak, I think is no Ivano Balic. It's impossible to compare with Ivano Balic. But it's the players who make different or who make attractive the handball on the court. Maybe Tim Bombak is the player who most more impressive to me.
Thomas, the best comment about Dejan Bombac this season was by Martin Schwalb, who said, "Imagine how good he was. Imagine how good he could be if he was fit." They got to keep him away from the Nutella. That's what they got to do, you know. And
that's his secret
that was
weapon.
on Christmas wish list,
and
wasn't
the
it?
Christmas pudding, yeah. It's fine.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm really thankful that we could foster the Spanish-Slovenian friendship after the Olympic qualification tournaments. I'm not so sure about the Irish-Spanish friendship. I don't know whether we could foster that tonight. I'm really happy that we both Tom's English. Nemanja, I hope you took something out of it as well. And guys, no, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Great having you here. Vid, thank you very much for making you available. Pleasure having you here. I hope all of you are going to watch the quarterfinals. Remember, they're all on EHF TV, and obviously, in particular, match of the week, Kiel against Barcelona. And on Sunday, I think Thurrows at 7:30 local time, if I'm not mistaken. Sold out Sparkassen Arena. The 20th meeting or so of these two teams. So a lot at stake. Great games coming up. Thank you again. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.